I think it's close enough. I'd like to call this meeting Tuesday, February 25th to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Need to sign the journal and accept a motion to approve the DVD recording from the previous board session from Thursday, February 20th, and the index as well.
I move. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved, thank you. Do we have anybody need to make any adjustments onto the agenda so we know what we're headed into? Other than we got the May meeting date change under new business. Anything else?
May and April meeting date.
May and April.
Yep. And probably ought to bring up the indigent council
Under old.
And, do you guys want to discuss the 53 letter for the personal donations or the public donations?
Yeah, you were, I want to give us an update on that or what you.
Yeah, there's, Nikki's putting together a letter, and I made some adjustments to it, but I didn't save it when I sent it back, so I gotta make it again. It's not necessarily most computer literate. But what that is ODOT is now looking to bring the funds together. If you remember, there was the study for the 53 improved safety improvements in infrastructure was a $100,000 study, and of that, ODOT has committed $50,000 to it. $50,000 was coming from the 4 counties, with 5 being Wyandotte, and I want to stress the reason I've asked the least amount of Wyandotte because they've already got the 4-laners with Route 23 and 30. I suggested, and it was approved, that the commissioners that Seneca County Seneca County's portion would be $25,000, which $12,500 would come from general funds, and the other $12,500 would come from private donations. And this letter is now, I've had people call and say, when can we send our money in, and so forth and so on. And I was waiting until ODOT was ready to put it together, and now ODOT is, so this is the letter we're sending out from the 3 of us commissioners, outlining the donation that they've asked for. So we've got the $12,500. I've got commitments for the $12,500 for the private donation.
Okay.
I believe this will go a long way after the study is done. When, again, I always try to equate this, the study's the easy part. To get the job done is going to be the tough one. And I still want to come back that at some point or other, we have to have some money to be able to contribute towards this project. And I'm not ready to beat that drum yet, but this public-private partnership goes a long way with the state and with ODOT when it comes to making something happen. So that's all this letter is.
Will the letter direct them who to talk to at ODOT for their monies to go in, because we can't collect that money here.
Well,
We
we
can't have
talked
that
about
come
it
in-
yesterday.
It can't come into the county because we aren't allowed to ask for contributions, I don't think.
I have talked to Julie. I don't know how that works.
I guess
We
I'm
could be
thinking that would be a
clearinghouse
little
or
bit
not.
hairy for the auditor.
Well,
But they can just send it, but I assume that they could be directed to where at ODOT they could,
yeah, but I would like to,
because like ours has to go in, we've approved it, but I don't know if,
In Stormer's letter, he said, make it payable to the treasurer of the state or something like that and send it to him. He had a specific person to make the check
Okay.
payable to. That would be the easiest way, probably, if whoever is donating, National Machinery, or whoever is donating, could just make the check directly to.
yeah, wouldn't it be better if we would consolidate it? That way we know when they paid, not versus us.
I just don't know if we can, because we aren't allowed to solicit private funds, are we? Yeah, we,
I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, can we ask them to make the check payable but send it here and we'll consolidate it all?
And send it on.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to ask that question, I don't know that we can. Because we talked about this with, I mean, minor compared to this, but with the jobs fair, we talked about, I said that we don't have the funds to disperse for that, I can't collect funds for that. And then with the congressman, then we eliminated that idea altogether because we can't do it, but I just remember the discussions on it.
I guess we'll have to ask Derek and what do we do?
Yeah,
How do we
unfortunately, it's
go
not
about it? I
as
mean-
easy, not as
Yeah,
as logical as it.
We want to follow the legal part of the law, we don't want to do anything that's,
Right,
yeah. I would prefer that it would come to, not the check physically come here, but in the name of ODOT, so we can consolidate the checks and send them in, that way we know everything's been done.
no, that's probably not an issue, the checks aren't made out to us, that's probably okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Made out to ODOT, however Mike Stormer, but just have them mail it to the commissioner's office, so we get the half a dozen checks, put it all in one envelope and send it to them. And it's like, right now, I've got a little issue, the Port Authority has made a contribution, but they've sent her straight to ODOT. So I wanna make sure ODOT's aware that that contribution from the Seneca Sandusky Port Authority is part of our contribution, and Sandusky County's contribution.
Yeah,
So that way, by things going there,
yeah,
I guess I don't trust, not that I don't trust anybody, but we control it, I have a better handle on it than what it is someone else and try to get second.
and you know you've met your commitment, you know. to
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
So you know
We-
where it's at,
we-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, as long as their checks aren't made to us, I think that's probably not an issue, but other than.
we need to structure the letter, to kind of state a good point,
Okay.
good point.
Right. Next item, old business, the new Regal sewer. There's plans with Mayor, William has been planning with your assistance, this public meeting.
Yeah, the meeting's gonna be tomorrow, and I wanna emphasize, we did not, this Board of Commissioners and the previous commissioners did not create this issue. It's an issue that we inherited it, and we are trying to do everything that we can do from the state and the federal level to help the residents of New Riggle. Period. I mean, it isn't something that we created, and I don't want this to go over and be a bash the commissioners or bash the engineer or bash anything up there. There was mistakes that were made by our predecessors, and I was actually clarified on that by the New Riggle Council. They're the ones that had the system engineered and built. And I'm actually looking at, and I had a call into Derek, I don't know if there's any legal recourse, we can go back on the engineers who engineered the project. I don't know.
Was that Peterman?
That's Peterman.
Peterman, okay. I was trying to think of that name earlier.
Yeah, that's
Peterman
right,
and
John, you would be
Associates.
involved with a bit
Here
of,
when it was going on.
yeah.
Charlie Dodge.
So I don't know.
You know more.
Charlie Dodge, yeah, yeah.
All we're trying to do, we have someone from the governor's office, EPA, RCAP, Senator Burke's office, Senator Portman's office, Senator Brown's office. All these are through conference. They may not physically be there, but through conference, and then just lay out the facts of where we are today, and then what can be done from the state and the federal level to help the residents of New Riggle and Fostoria.
I never talked to the mayor, but he had sent that letter, I called, left him a message that I was gonna be gone,
Yeah.
and,
No decisions will be made from the commissioner standpoint.
no, it's not our meeting,
This
it's
is
theirs.
not our meeting, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
At the New Regal Village?
The New Riggle Village Hall. Open to the public, and it's more of an information, more for informing state and federal officials of the problem and what can be done.
all right. Nothing else on that. Indigent council, we added that. I know the auditor's office has had some concerns and understandings of the whole resolution we passed back in August, of how that, when that change occurred. It was, I think the intent was that if the case started in, whatever year the case started, is the rate it goes by. But there's cases where they lie dormant, then they come back in, and depends on if they complete online, what allows them to put one rate in and not two, versus paperwork processing for this payment. So I'm not sure where we're at. We're gonna do some
Well, from what.
amendments to our
Well, yeah,
resolution.
I had a meeting with the auditors yesterday, and what we need to do was we need to make an amendment to the resolution and state that these new indigent council rates will only go into effect on any case that has been brought from January 1st, 2014 on. Any previous case, even though it may be continuing, is still gonna go with the old rate.
Okay.
That's
Because they
That was
offered to
the-
come over here and talk to us. I said, I don't know if we need that, and, you know, that was 20 minutes ago, and I said, well, let's see where we're at. So it,
That
several
was-
change of amendment to our resolution to clarify that. That was
Yes.
the intent all along, from what I understood.
Yes.
I think Nikki's working on some other things that need clarified in there from the state's perspective. So
Okay.
she's just gonna try and roll it into one.
Okay,
But they suggested rescinding it, and I don't think that's necessary. I mean, they
Okay.
know what the intent is, and we will clarify it, but I don't think we need to rescind it.
okay.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff, there's some issues from the state that have to be clarified in there. And then in addition to the amendment, we'll have to clarify that it's from January 1st cases 14 on, anything prior stays the old. Because apparently, and I was unaware of this, there's some cases that could just go on for years and years and years, especially in juvenile court, so.
You think that'll be ready next week or?
Yeah, I'll get it sent to her today.
Okay.
I just gotta try and make out her handwriting.
Nothing's easy.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Anything else for old business? If not, let's ask Mr. DeVoli to come up and talk to us briefly. He's going to do that before we do new business, and then he can move on his way if he needs to do so.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, public, administration. Thank you for your time this morning. It is going to be a relatively brief statement. The LGIF Justice Center study that we've been working on close to a year now almost is coming to completion. We're finishing up the study right now. I've been spending I personally and the staff there at the ESC and NCOR COG have been spending a lot of time on it. Burgess and Nyepel, I've been on the phone with them back and forth, conference calls, finishing up the study. I don't have anything formally to give anyone today. I have drafts and stuff we've been working on, and another draft, but it's going very well. Next week, on March 5th, Wednesday, March 5th, we invite the commissioners, administration, public, even the press will invite. No, the press is invited.
A little hesitant.
Come on down to the ESC, NCO ESC, the old Kroger building there. The Burgess and Nyepel will be there to give a presentation to the NCOR COG board. Now, the reason they're giving the presentation to the NCOR COG board is because NCOR COG was the main applicant on the application for the study, and we, the board of NCOR COG, has to approve the study as submitted. We're not by-stepping anybody on the commissioner side or the mayor or judges or anybody. We're just accepting the study as submitted, and then we can apply for the final payments on the grant and then pay the people who did the study and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, the study is very comprehensive. They did a very nice job. I have to say that the NCOR COG, myself and our secretary, Kim Fisher there, Lynette Cameron has done a lot of work on it as well. Very proud to be part of this, as we've been kind of like the project manager of the study. It was a wonderful, wonderful spirit of cooperation. I know I've talked with a lot of folks about this. You have 4 judges, you have a county commissioner, you have a mayor, you have folks from SIDEC were involved. We involved people from the chamber and everywhere. And you would think with all those different personalities and all these different people that there would be any kind of conflict in that. They had disagreements here and there, but they worked everything out to the point of the study where it's they did a real nice job on it, and I can't speak enough of that spirit of cooperation. A special thanks to NCO ESC, my parent company, or the umbrella that we're under. They hosted all the meetings. They always had a pretty nice lunch. We had a nice lunch all the time, a nice spread of food there. And we did it as a lunch thing because we know the judges and the commissioners and the mayors are very busy people. And so we did it as a light lunch for them, so they can come in. They have to eat lunch one way or the other. So they'd come there and eat lunch, and then one judge would come in, one judge would leave, and then, it was a kind of a dynamic kind of thing. But we had a lot of meetings there, so the ESC, we got to thank them very much. The study itself, for all practical purposes, is done. I have the final draft to do, so we're just editing right now and checking things. We'll have a hard copy for all the commissioners. We'll have a hard copy for all the judges, and also for the mayor, of course, and all people involved. There'll be electronic copies available online. We'll publish that and have that. And then when the whole study is done, you can take the study and you can put it on the shelf back there and never do anything with it ever again. You're under no mandate, the county nor the city or the judges, to do anything. But the study gives you great guidance, a great blueprint how to go forward on doing this joint justice center, and I think you'll be thoroughly impressed. I know I've done a lot of these studies already with the LGIF, and no disrespect to the other companies and other projects, but this one is pretty straightforward and gives you really good guidance. I believe you'll really like it. And that's all I really have to say on.
John,
on
I
this
think
part.
it's important to say that the study includes and incorporated a lot of people within the county. The sheriff,
whole list
the
of people, yeah.
prosecutors, I mean, lawyers, various different departments. So it wasn't just this group of the judges and the mayor and yeah, we were the part that kind of put it together, but there was a tremendous amount of interviews and
with the-
reports that were.
Heidelberg University, the University of Tiffin, Kent Nord attorney downtown, Seneca Chamber of Commerce, the advertising firm, a title agency, a couple different law firms downtown, prosecutors' offices, law libraries, and the sheriff, of course, we talked to the sheriff. I mean, everybody was
They all
involved in
had
it.
input on this study here. And another thing that I think was is Burgess and Nyepel, and I don't even mean to take thunder from you.
No.
But they looked at it, the city doing something, the county doing something, and doing something together. And kind of a cost outline of all. So it wasn't just going in with one single focus. It was multi-focused, and then it's us to evaluate what makes the most sense.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's gonna be the commissioners, the judges, because they have their fees, their user fees, and the mayor and city council, we're gonna have to decide, hey, we want to go forward on it, or we don't want to go forward. You'll have your own nice blueprint to do that with then, or nice study to hang your hat on at the end of the day. It's not just Jeff saying this, or not just Holly saying this. This is all these people coming together and doing it. And once again, it was good meeting, weren't they? They were really dynamic, good
It was-
meetings.
Yeah, and there was
it was a-
some difficult times.
Yes.
We had some difference of opinion as to how to go about this between the mayor and the judges and myself as a commissioner, and it got a little heated at times, but we,
Never quite the Jerry Springer show. We weren't throwing chairs or anything, but it got heated once in a while. Last but not least, on a completely different note, we'll
That's
come to that.
noon on Wednesday?
High noon on Wednesday, March 5th. We'll have some light refreshments in that, but when you walk in, we'll have, if we need to know who's coming, we'll have chairs lined up for, you are a dignitary, you are an elected official, we respect that, to be sitting there, but then the NCOR COG board will be sitting at the main table. Fred's one of the members of that. They'll be at the main table, and then we'll have chairs up for the general public as well. We're doing it under the jurisdiction of that meeting because we have to approve it and then send it forward.
Sure.
But you'll have the full presentation like the board's gonna get at the same exact meeting, so everybody knows it all at once. On one other note, March 19th is our annual board meeting, our annual breakfast meeting. We have a bunch of sponsors for it, so it's all nice, real nice breakfast we're gonna have. And State Auditor Dave Yost is gonna be our featured speaker. I met him many times, real nice fella, real down to earth. He's gonna talk for about 15-20 minutes, and he's gonna answer questions for about 15-20 minutes. Should all be out there by about 10 o'clock. Starts at 8:30 in the morning. You're all invited, of course. And then the public, anybody from the press or anybody likes to go, they have to call an RSVP for it. We're expecting a pretty good crowd of treasurers from cities and auditors and that, school superintendents, mayors from different surrounding villages, and different county elected officials that will be there. But it's a very brief business meeting. We have breakfast, a very brief business meeting, and then Auditor Yost will speak and then answer questions. So it's not through a big, long, boring meeting for the annual meeting is not a long meeting, it's a very short meeting by design, but by law, we have to have it once a year.
Now, if we, unless the chamber changes their board meeting, which I don't know if they're going to, if I came late
Theirs
to
is-
that and just skip the breakfast, I can do that, because their meetings usually last about, I assume about an hour. They're usually the second Wednesday, so I've been missing them because of leadership, but they moved it to the 19th in March.
Well, I'll talk to John,
At
John
7:30.
Detweiler, because he was one of the people I think RSVP'd already, so I don't know. We
Maybe
got
he's,
look at
maybe he's
schedules.
planning on keeping his really short, because it starts at 7:30, so we could easily be done.
I don't know,
Well,
John
I don't know when
Detweiler
it's-
talks almost as much as John DeBowie. I don't know
But anyway.
about that. But,
Yeah, just,
thanks for that knowledge. I'll talk to
Yeah.
John this afternoon then and clear that up, but you're all invited to that as well. Thank you very much, and I'll be back in 2 meetings from now about the CNG study. We're gonna finish, we're trying to sequence it so we're not overwhelmed with all the paperwork.
Right.
You can imagine. Thank you very
thanks-
much.
Thanks, John. Let's move to the new business. Start there.
Okay, I have bill vouchers 18 through 23. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Law Library Resources Board Fund 032, moving $1,600 into contract services and $250 into advertising for a total of $1,850. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation for the ambulance service fund, 064, putting $1,000 into travel. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the VOCA expansion project fund, 112, putting $1,300 into travel. And I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the general fund for 2014, putting $20,713.84. This is for the carpet out to the Egg Services building. They have built the payment for this into the lease, but you know, we pay it up front and we'll get it back over, 10 years?
With some interest.
With some interest,
There was
yes.
some interest on that.
Yes. That's all I have.
I move we approve.
Seconded.
All right. Motion and second to approve resolutions as presented. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Reddick?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, all approved. Thank you. Other new business. There's one thing listed about some concerns on near future. Spring is almost here. Meeting dates.
I just had two requests, and it's not major, but I try not to miss as many meetings as I can, not to miss many meetings. The two requests I have is we have a meeting for April 15. I'd like to see if we can move that to the 14th, if at all possible. I've got some other commitments. The issue is in the morning, we have a, there's something over to Bowling Green, no, it's in Toledo. I think you're gonna go to
On
it.
the 14th, yes.
On the 14th.
Yeah. The state of the region.
Yeah, but that will be over by noon. Is it something that would it be possible for my fellow commissioners to change that date and we do a commissioners meeting in the afternoon?
Versus the 15th. Are you filing your taxes on the 15th?
I'm leaving town.
You're not.
He's skipping taxes
He said
on
you
it.
weren't filing your I don't, does that
It's-
require us to make it a special meeting, because since we have an agenda or set thing, or doesn't? I mean, not that we haven't moved them before when we've had a conflict that
Yeah,
involves all of
yeah.
us,
Yeah.
you know, but we needed to be represented for the county.
Right.
I just maybe.
If it creates a problem, it's no big deal, but if we could do it, then,
I know the past board worried about that special meeting. I think it's just a different date. I don't mind moving one once in a while. I just don't want to get in the habit of moving too many because we do advertise these in the magazine and so on, or the county commissioners. But if we got to move one, once in a while, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to do one
The
every month.
that Tuesday would normally be a work session, so I don't know if we're gonna, eliminate the work session or move it with it, which may be moving, you move it with it.
Either day works with me. I don't care.
Yeah, I can.
yeah, and then the other request I have is in May to move the 20th to the 22nd. So,
Be it Tuesday to a Thursday.
yeah.
And right now, there's nothing on our calendar for that day. And I think that was a work session too, if I remember correctly.
If we go to the 14th, that is supposed to be done at noon, but if it ran a little long or anything, I would guess I wouldn't want it before,
Well, yeah, I would think we wouldn't want to do a meeting till like 2.
till about 2.
2, yeah, it'll leave ample time.
Okay with me.
Well, we'll at least have one that's afternoon, a little different, and like I said, once in a while, it's no big deal. All right, so we'll have the meeting on April 14th instead of the 15th, and we'll convene at 2, and then the May would be on Thursday, the 22nd,
Versus the 20th.
in place of the meeting on the 20th. Take the
That-
work session with it. That's also one that'd be,
Sure. That'll make us Thursday, Tuesday, and Thursday, because the next week is a Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe we want to eliminate that Tuesday. I don't know. We can talk about that later, but
Okay.
I think that'd be
Okay.
fine. We can move the work session, sure.
okay.
Yeah.
You guys wanna move the work session for both of them, because like Stace said, the 14th is a work session as well. The 14th and the.
Oh, the one in April.
Okay.
If we have anything scheduled for it, it seems like we kind of need to do it, we'll do that, and we'll start the work session at 1:30. And then, like I said, if that had to start before, if by some reason it was running late, that wouldn't be as big a deal, but see if anybody, I think it's scheduled for it, if not, we wouldn't have to.
Yeah, well, you both will be there, so we wouldn't
We
be
have
able
one
to.
regional thing too.
Yes.
wouldn't be able to.
Yes, yes, I'm going
Oh,
up
okay.
to.
Start without you.
Start without us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just finish up all the business before you guys get there.
Well, let's forego the work session.
Okay,
Let's forego the work session, and if somebody really needs it, it's gonna be on the agenda.
that can be on the,
That'll work.
yeah.
And you'll change all that on our calendar, then I'll have it. Okay, cool.
That's all that I had.
Okay, anybody else have anything else for new business?
We do have a gentleman here to speak.
And, yeah, we'll go to public, the citizens' comments. Hi.
Charles Marks. I talked to Fred before, and I just wanted to bring you guys some information on ATV trails. You might find some pretty interesting names on there.
Oh, boy.
And
Oh,
lot of
boy,
different
you've done some
counties.
work here.
and there's some TU students talking to the city, see if they can get going. County Parks Department said no. I couldn't get a hold of nobody from the state. I didn't know whether you guys had a little pull to get them to pick up the phone, but I don't. You know, if all else fails, the old state hospital used to be open for the public, and it ain't no more. They got all that wooded area, that old railroad track bed there, that could be used. They used to be open for public hunting. Now it's all closed up. You know, there's a lot of interest.
There is a tremendous amount of
There's
interest.
some.
I'm amazed.
There's some dealers interested to see what happens out of this, because I know 3 of them said that they're looking to expand some, and so
And that property belongs to the state?
the state hospital does.
Yeah, and and it was all state, it was all in that part of that, what you talked about, I can't remember now.
Yeah,
It was.
the back part on the east end of it, from the old milking sheds and everything.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
all used to be public hunting, all that. And you used to remember Cook's carry out.
Uh-huh.
You used to go there and you used to get written permission so you could hunt that. But it's all private now. State closed that all off. They ain't doing nothing with it.
Did they keep it, or did they didn't sell it, did they?
No, they still got
They
it.
still own it.
It's still theirs. You know, maybe that's an option.
Well, how do we, I mean, fellow
I don't know where to
commissioners, I mean,
direct you, who
there,
can help you.
this,
It's not hard.
this young man has done a lot. There's gotta be hundreds of names on here.
They're not all from Seneca County.
Which means there'd be people coming in.
Yeah, but a lot of them,
Yeah, there's a lot from Seneca
yeah,
County, and there's some from other counties.
The petition is for, refresh my memory, for a.
well, they were looking,
Interested.
Constructing of a rail trail, or a.
Yeah,
four-wheeler
to
trail.
use abandoned railroad tracks for ATV trails.
well, you could use it for snowmobile.
Yeah.
I mean, this year especially. How do we, I mean, how do we take this thing to the next level? I mean, I'm in an area I don't really have any experience with, but it's obvious that there's an interest from the residents of the county.
Yeah.
Who
Is it-
owns the tracks, I wonder? Who owns the abandoned property? That would be the first step.
A lot of it reverts back to the landowners.
Yeah, it's kind of a hodgepodge of, if I think it right,
But a lot of it's property that they're not doing nothing with. It's just growing up and,
I mean, would the next step be where we would get with the prosecutor and say, okay, we're thinking about this. What do we need to do? I'd love to,
It's not our property though, so it can't be, that's why I'm
Well,
questioning
well,
whether
it-
it be us or they need to, or is it the Chamber, the Visitors Bureau, who wants to see these things develop and exist,
yeah.
that could prod through the state system like you're needing? I guess I'm wondering what's in the aspects of our, not that we don't want to see it, you know, things like that too, but
I don't think the commissioners can develop a
Yeah.
system like that.
no, I
We
understand
go-
that.
we can-
We're just looking for help.
yeah,
yeah.
If,
I
That's something
mean,
that-
if we can
With
get
the-
the help and.
Sidejack.
with the tax,
Sidejack, would he know anything?
he
Oh,
might,
Loretta makes a
the
good point.
tax map office might be able to tell you who owns, I don't know if they can overlay that on a map, and tell you who owns.
Julie can, I'm sure
What?
Julie can. With
Yeah,
her
find out who those
software.
owners are. And I do think Laura makes a good point, that SIDAC might be an avenue where he knows a lot of those players
Well, I mean, wouldn't we want to get the Visitors Bureau, get John Detweiler in the chamber, get SIDAC,
Those would be maybe through
yourself, at least one of us as commissioner, to sit down and have a meeting and maybe get the prosecutor or someone to set in on it and say, okay, this is the concept, or this is the thought. Where do we go at from here? And it may be break it off into committees and say, okay, you find out for land development, you find out from the legalities of what can be done. I don't know, but I mean, it's obvious you've done your homework here, and I'm impressed.
That's only, about 2 weeks.
Unbelievable.
I mean, had we put more out all over the county,
Yeah.
we could have probably got a lot more, but a lot of gas stations and stuff, they took it as a political thing, and no, it's not a political thing. So we're just asking,
Yeah.
you know.
What's your number again?
It's 419-618-4418.
Is there a specific line that you're looking at, a specific trail or?
No, anywhere.
Any of them, okay.
I mean, let's open this county up and get some money coming back in it. People travel hundreds of miles to ride. Why not capitalize on it?
I mean, they're looking at putting a dog park to get kind of people to come in. I can see this, and there's a heck of a lot more people.
Fremont actually has walkways beside active railroad tracks.
Yeah, we've used those on our bicycles and they're very nice. It was an expensive undertaking to.
Well, see what we're doing, there ain't.
Yeah, if you don't want any asphalt.
No. All you need is a few poles and a couple stop signs.
I think the first thing is to find out who owns,
Yeah.
pick an area and find out who owns it. Is it all the old railroad that owns it, or did it revert back to 500 people?
Most of it ain't got tracks on it anymore.
If the commissioners will allow me, why don't let's head up a meeting, get a meeting. Again, I could see regional planning, you know, through the GIS system. I could see the chamber, the Visitors Bureau, SIDAC, and yourself. If you guys will allow me, we'll have
Float it out
an
there.
introductory meeting
Yeah.
and start looking at it and say, what can be done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, understand all this GIS, but the people in the room probably do. Does that overlay with property owners? Do you know Bob or John if
I think they can,
they can overlay that with?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's understanding how they put all those layers on, and that's why we wanted the hub,
I could say-
that we wanted, so that, you know, they aren't, once somebody's done that work, this
We have
person
that
can.
technology now, where we can say Smith owns this piece and Jones owns this piece. And
Yeah.
Oh, I believe they do that.
Yeah,
I believe they do
where that-
that.
following a crooked line on a railroad track, okay.
There's
Joe Griffin has a lot of good stuff at regional planning on that,
Okay,
the
okay.
overlays.
Okay.
there's a lot of people in that list that's willing to volunteer to put in the sweat equity, so. I mean, cost is very minimal,
Yeah,
and all I see is rewards on both sides.
I applaud you for your efforts here. I applaud you for that. A lot of work. It's gotta be
Yeah.
done, but,
Ton of work,
yeah, but it's obvious that there's an interest.
Yeah,
Obvious, with the commissioner's permission, I'll be getting back with you and I'll try to get these entities, we'll sit down in the room and start
all right.
thinking about it.
Josh Coonrod went to the city about it yesterday to see how much interest he could get drummed up there. Let's see if he could get any help pushing anything, you know.
I'd see this more as kind of as a city-county
Yeah,
process of facilitating it now. Who owns it and how it's paid for, and that's a whole different, who's gonna take care of the liabilities, and I mean, that's a whole different
yeah. I
program, but I don't see this as strictly as a county issue. It's gonna have cooperation from a lot of different entities. Hey, you've shown me that there's an interest
yeah.
for the community. I'll do my part and we'll sit down and have a meeting. Mornings
Okay.
or evenings work better for you,
understand. Anytime
daytime?
you want.
Okay, I mean, try to get a group together.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be
Thank you guys
back, I'll
for
be
your
back
time.
with you
Yes,
today.
thank you.
Thank
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Any more
There's a lot.
citizens' comments? Anybody have anything for us? Yes, Al?
Piece on what he's talking about, the out there, the road that's right south of the, south end of the airport, that goes, the road that goes east and west there was railroad tracks down in there that they reconverted to farm ground. And I can't visualize very many farmers out there that really have title to that, wanting to go along with anything but getting that reverted back to farm ground. You know, I think it'd be pretty daggone difficult, because I know if I had ground out there and I could revert it back to farm ground, daggone well be mine, you know what I'm
At
saying?
$15 a bushel for beans, you bet your butt.
Well, yeah.
And even just letting a bunch of four-wheelers run through your backyard would
Yeah.
be an issue for a lot of
Yeah.
people, I
Yeah,
think.
that'll-
Yeah, there's quite a, I mean, how wide a strip it was, we out there, they just come in there with bulldozers and stuff and flatten it out and stuff. And I don't know what the quality of the ground as far as plowing, you know,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty good patch down through there.
This is
I imagine there's a
major.
half a mile of it up through there, right in the middle of someone from somewhere else, so here's a guy who wants to convert here, and here's a guy that don't care, and you come here and, whoops, got a half mile, whoops, can't go any further, you know? That's gonna be a pretty tough
Road to
situation.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Would DNR have any insight into that?
They might.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to help me on this, please jump in, because it's a big cloud right now.
I'm already juggling elephants.
Does, anything else for citizens' comments? Now, we have a need for an executive session for the personnel, did you correctly state that?
Yeah.
Personnel,
And I think it's bargaining, collective bargaining.
Collective bargaining and personnel.
and personnel,
Two separate issues.
two separate issues, okay.
Yeah.
All right, do you have a motion?
I will move that we go into executive session for personnel and collective bargaining.
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoll,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
We aren't thinking of any action afterwards for the press.
Yeah, we're not planning on no action afterwards. We'll just come out to adjourn.
I didn't do it.